up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know where you're located today. Please share this video, as always. And if you don't mind, let me know, hey, what'd you guys do this weekend? I drank a lot of tequila. Debbie's surprised by the elevator music. Elevator music is the perfect music for waiting for a show to start, Debbie. Gresha, this is kind of like waiting for the IRS, except at the end of waiting, you'll get to hear me talk, not somebody that works for the government. This is like the anti-IRS call. Making fun of this music. I know, it's annoying. But I go live on YouTube every day now. Besides being live on Facebook, we're also live on YouTube, and hello to everyone on YouTube. When I play the old waiting for the show to start music, YouTube flags it, and I get into lots of trouble for that. Some people are complaining that the mic is not loud enough. It'll be louder when the show starts, I promise. Yeah, the volume will be louder when the show starts. Don't worry.
Government sucks at doing stuff.
You're listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Good for you.
The government are a bunch of clowns.
The Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
Guns don't kill people. The government does.
The Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
The American government lies to you.
The Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
It's the government, all right? People don't work there because they're geniuses.
The Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
We have less brains in Washington right now than we've ever had since we've been a nation.
Good afternoon. Hello to one and all. It is I. It's a Tuesday. Your Memorial Day weekend is officially over. But alas, we are together. And that's all that really matters. According to new research, thousands of quarantined Americans in blue states still haven't seen or touched another human being in 3 months. But on the bright side, they've memorized the dialogue of every Star Wars film ever created. Consider that to be an accomplishment. Well, not exactly. I actually feel sorry for anyone who's still quarantined. We're not here in Houston. We've been out for almost a month now. In other places, not so much. These people claim they haven't come in contact with anybody in months. But I also heard science has come up with a new term for that. Marriage. Marriage is what you call that. Today on Pursuit of Happiness Radio, murder hornets, and cannibal rats. We'll get to that. Oh, the Chicago Weekend Crime Report, Houston Chronicle Thug Fest with Joe Gamaldi. He's stopping by. And protecting your business. My lawyer will be calling in soon, and he's going to tell you what I got arrested for over the weekend. 713-212-5950. But first, let's begin with a conversation about America's pastime. Yeah, that's right, baseball. What the hell happened to baseball? I don't often discuss sports on this show. It's not a normal topic of on-air conversation for someone like me. But this year has been anything but normal. Here in the world of professional broadcasting, we constantly have deadlines. If I get up during a commercial break and I go to the bathroom and create something that smells horrible, I need to get back here in less than 5 minutes or you're going to be stuck listening to silence. And then you'll quickly change the channel. That's how it works. Deadlines are important. But take it from someone who knows, deadlines can actually be very good. Deadlines are exactly what we need for baseball to begin by early July. Yes, July. You very likely won't be seeing baseball this year during the month of June unless you're hosting a community baseball game in your backyard. And even then, if you have too many people in one place at the same time, there's a good chance you'll be ticketed and fined and arrested. Arrested for baseball. Can you believe it? Yeah, America, what a country. Now, to be clear, there's no official countdown clock in place for baseball this year. But there are exactly two things the members of a $10.7 billion industry should probably keep in mind as baseball and executives and the players union are going to be meeting this week. The calendar, that'd be thing number one, I'd say, and their bank accounts. If Major League Baseball wants to start in early July, the owners and the players need to put their differences aside and reach an agreement ASAP. Not long ago, the league claimed they wanted to start a second spring training by June 10th. Guess what's not happening? If that happened, it would give players about 3 weeks to train, and then the first pitch would happen. And that type of artificial deadline should encourage both sides to sit down, open up their Zoom apps or their Microsoft Teams software, grind out a deal. That's why this week is so important. If you're a baseball fan, the longer the negotiations take, the less likely you'll be seeing an 82-game season or any kind of game season. If they don't have a season, and if they don't plan it out this week, a $10 billion industry will quickly become a $0 industry. Look, Major League Baseball, it is a brand, and every team in Major League Baseball is a brand. Think about it. Hertz Rent-A-Car, Neiman Marcus, Frontier Communications, JCPenney, they all declared bankruptcy this year. The Astros, the Dodgers, the Yankees, they might do it too. With the exception of some minimal online merchandise sales, revenue in baseball right now virtually non-existent. And we are yet to see the effects of the shutdown on teams like the Oakland A's. They didn't pay their annual rent for Oakland Coliseum so far this year. The Cubs and the Mariners slash salaries for non-playing personnel. The Marlins, the Rays, the Reds, the Mets, all among teams who have furloughed their personnel. The Pirates, by the way, are paying salaries right through the end of this month, then probably no more baseball. Now, in addition to losing salaries, players are also losing service time. And if there's no agreement, which no one wants to see happen, a year of their careers gone. This is just as bad for players at the end of their career as it is for the rookies. It's hard to believe last year's college baseball stars right now might be driving Uber. Isn't that weird? The salary squabble, of course, threatens to wipe out an entire season. And sometime over the next week, we probably will find out once and for all if baseball in 2020 is happening. Meanwhile, the sports landscape, not completely barren. You've got auto racing, the UFC. I know you guys like German soccer. Oh, who doesn't love German soccer? Asia has baseball. The PGA is slated to begin next month. But nothing would approach normalcy like the start of the MLB season. Even if it's in front of an empty stadium, I think most of us agree it's still something, right? Meanwhile, if you're looking for some kind of sport to watch, you might enjoy Ultimate Tag. Starting tomorrow on Fox, it's hosted by J.J. Watt and his lesser talented brother, TJ. Or maybe you're looking for something entirely new altogether. The CDC, you may be interested to learn, has now issued a warning that cannibal rats, no, not coronavirus, the CDC is warning us about cannibal rats starving from bankrupted empty restaurant dumpsters, being left completely barren, quickly becoming a problem all over America. And then there was the murder hornets. Giant Asian hornets, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to explain where they're from, are infesting America off the Pacific coast. They may be heading to your neighborhood soon. While some people probably became concerned about news of deadly murder hornets and cannibal rats, I, for one, think there may be an opportunity here. Sports broadcasting producers see opportunity. And if you're curious about what I'm suggesting, you may enjoy listening to this.
Welcome back to Murder Hornets versus Cannibal Rats on ESPN, the last sporting event legally allowed to take place in America in 2020.
Yes, to help satisfy American sports fans, we here at ESPN have filled an airtight, transparent container with 500 murder hornets and 500 cannibal rats for your viewing pleasure.
The most violent and feared pests of 2020 are ready to prove to quarantined Americans that it's still not safe to leave your homes.
The officials are ready to begin. And there they go!
Wow. The murder hornets are taking out the cannibal rats just as quickly as the cannibal rats are taking out the murder hornets.
But wait, in the back of the cage, I think I see a new challenger emerging. Is that?
That's how we take care of ISIS right there, buddy.
It's Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
What?
2020's gay meth-addicted version of the crocodile hunter.
Biting heads off the cannibal rats with one hand and swatting the murder hornets out of the air with the other.
And that's the fight. The Tiger Tiger King wins.
I saw it with my own eyes, and I still don't believe it. Joe Exotic 1, Murder Hornets, and Cannibal Rats 0.
Tell all the hunters to lay down their guns.
You know what's weird about this song? It's a complete steaming pile of garbage. But for some reason, everybody knows the lyrics to this song and loves it. Don't deny it, Garrett. Producer Garrett in there rolling his eyes at me. You do love it. 713-212-5950. The Tiger King, the Murder Hornets, and the Cannibal Rats will all be back right after this.
Stop listening to the government and start listening to the truth on Pursuit of Happiness Radio with Ken Webster Jr., a.k.a. Producer Kenny.
Hey, pay attention. We're not going to commercial just yet. This is a big deal. I want to talk for a minute real quick to all the business owners out there. Chances are you have business interruption policy insurance, and there's a good possibility that the insurance carrier you reached out to that sold you that insurance policy told you, you know what? We're not going to give you any money. Well, there's a reason why. They don't want to. Not because they're not supposed to, but because they don't want to. If a carrier denied your claim under business and interruption policy, you need to talk to my friend Jason at McLaurin Law. His website's easy to remember, covidclaimstexas.com. I'm going to repeat it because it's worth repeating. covidclaimstexas.com. Go to that website right now. Jason's great at what he does. He's got over a decade experience representing clients in these types of matters, and he can make sure that your insurance company pays you the money they owe you. So you can call him right now, 713-461-6500, or just go to that website. Easy to remember, covidclaimstexas.com. Make the insurance company pay you the money they owe you. Jason will make sure they do exactly that. covidclaimstexas.com. Contact him today.
We don't drone on and on about taxes and spending. We can talk about how bad.
You know what? You guys were right. The audio was a little low, so I fixed it. How's everybody doing out there? Some of you may notice I still don't have a haircut. People are on hold. We'll be taking your calls coming up. 713-212-5950. What are you guys talking about here? Anthony says the bits are fire today. Well, thank you, my friend. That cornhole one killed me, bro. Oh, yeah, this morning on Walton and Johnson. Yeah, you know, cornhole, professional cornhole is back, you guys, and I'm all about it. Have you guys been watching that? Cornhole is a TV show you can watch. Hard to believe, but there is televised cornhole going on. Weird, right? What's up with y'all? Where is everybody located today? I'm going to get caught up with your comments here during commercial break. John says, Kenny, it sounds like you're wearing a mask. No, I think it was a little low. I boosted the audio level. I would never wear a mask unless I was around extremely disabled sick people, and then only for their own protection, not for mine. Hang on one second. I think I got to do a commercial.
Tools to assist you in better understanding how your money can work for you even in stressful times and volatile markets. You'll also find the Retirement Survival Guide, the Recession Survival Guide, and the Layoff Survival Guide. You can register for our free weekly market report, which will come to your inbox. It's an in-depth look at global markets, plus local and timely market analysis. And most importantly, ways to protect your investments and to prevent losses in an economic downturn. All that and more at stawealth.com.
All right, not all insurance companies are created equal. If you heard me talking earlier, you already know that's true. Let's talk about health insurance for a minute. It's a little bit different from business interruption insurance. It's a lot different, but the point is still the same. There's a lot of insurance companies out there that might be underserving you. You may have a health insurance plan with a huge deductible. You might be limited on what doctors you can go to. This happened to me after they passed Obamacare. I was told that my doctor no longer accepted my health insurance. It was pretty frustrating. If you're in reasonably good health and you have health insurance that's too expensive, talk to my buddy Terry Bush at Insurance Solutions for You. Terry's been helping people get quality health insurance for 30 years. That's even longer than my producer's been alive. You could save 30 to 60% on your health insurance with better coverage. The plans include coverage for COVID-19. You get a quality plan. You manage it, not the government. You can get a health plan with exclusive benefits and features, no deadlines, enroll anytime. If you're interested, try this. Go to insurancesolutionsforyou.net. That's Insurance Solutions, the number 4, YOU.net. Or call them old school style, 866-566-3776.
Shipley Donuts Weather Center.
The News Radio 740 forecast, partly cloudy today. A stray shower or storm is possible. High about...
My wife told me now that the hair salons are open, why don't I go get a haircut? And the answer is pretty simple. I don't want to wear a mask. There's a place by my house that'll cut my hair. And they told me, yeah, come on in, but wear a mask. And I don't want to wear a mask I know, I sound like a child, but sound off in the comment section. Am I alone in this? I am happy to wait another month if it means I don't have to wear a mask. My wife wanted to go to the spa. Ladies like spas. She has a gift certificate to one. A gift certificate. It's already paid for. She called him up to make an appointment, and they told her, while you're laying there and we're rubbing your shoulders and your feet and stuff, you have to wear a mask. And my wife, who generally is very comfortable conforming to rules, she's not like me, didn't want to do it. She said, you know what? I'll just wait till July or June to do that. And I think a lot of people feel this way. It's like if you don't have to do something right now, why not just wait until later? You know what I mean? I don't know. Just a thought. I don't like masks is my only point. I know I'm probably speaking to the choir here, but let's see. What's up with you guys? Sandra says, oh, I love Sandra. Hopefully Sandra will be on the show tomorrow. Sandra says Cannibal Rats sound like a great name for a punk band singing their hot new hit Murder Hornets. It would be fun to watch, wouldn't it? Glenn says, yo, Dre. Is Dr. Dre in the house? What up, Dre? Everybody say hi to Dre. Jordan says giant Asian murder hornets. Sorry, shouldn't explain that they're from the biggest continent. No, it's very offensive, you guys. You're not supposed to explain where they come from. Charla, watching today on YouTube. By the way, this show now available on YouTube, Twitter, and old school style terrestrial radio. About 5, 6, 7,000 people watch on Facebook every day. A few hundred more on YouTube and Twitter. But tens of thousands of people still listen on old school radio. That's still our biggest audience. Hang on, we're going on. Well, you're just getting tuned in. Where have you been? I forgive. I love and I forgive. One thing we've been talking about is the CDC's new warning about cannibal rats. The CDC put out a warning today, and everybody was like, oh no, what's going on with coronavirus? And the CDC says, no, not coronavirus, cannibal rats. As lockdown orders get lifted around the country, Americans are being warned about aggressive rodent behavior. But you know what? I couldn't care less about what Congress is doing right now. I'm getting my life back. Freedom! A little bit of freedom. Ironically, lots of people hearing this warning about cannibal rodents will probably respond by saying, yeah, but when is the CDC ever right about anything? In other words, people don't give a rat's ass. Psh, thank you. I'm here all day. It's hard to take government leaders seriously when you see how screwed up their priorities are. Take the mayor of Chicago, for example. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, sometimes referred to as Larry Lightfoot by people in the Windy City, is a black lesbian Democrat. And for some reason, that's a really big deal. Thousands of people voted for her just because those three words, black lesbian Democrat, appear in her professional biography. I don't get it. I'm not kidding, though. Much like Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, Lori Lightfoot, a.k.a. Larry, has almost no professional experience and is clearly not qualified to run a city as large as Chicago, roughly the same size as Houston, but for some reason she does. The fact that she's a black lesbian Democrat shouldn't really matter. You'd think it would be more about her qualifications, but nay, that is not how they pick their leaders. And in a city as violent and dangerous as Chicago, you'd think gun violence and gang activity would be Mayor Larry's #1 priority. You would be wrong. Instead of trying to stop gun violence, Larry's more interested in arresting people for opening their businesses and throwing house parties than actually doing something about the violence on the south and west side of town. Sound familiar? I bet it does. She's not issuing stern warnings to gang members, but she is saying things like this to anyone who tries to open up their business and their hair salon. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you, Houstonians.
And this is how it's going to be. We will shut you down, we will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you, and we will take you to jail. Period.
Chicago is just, I mean, it really is just miserable.
Yeah.
You smell like Chicago.
And now, the Chicago Weekend Crime Report. It's back by popular demand. 10 people died, and 39 others were wounded in weekend shootings in Chicago. The deadliest since 2015. 12 people killed. Guys, they're in lockdown. You're not supposed to leave your house. The fact that the death toll already surpassed last year's holiday weekend, when 7 people were killed and 34 were injured, is kind of mind-blowing. Pun intended. In 2018, 7 people died, 30 others were wounded. In 2017, 6 people killed, 44 wounded. But this year, they broke a new record. Congratulations, Chicago. Give it up for Chi-Town, baby. At the beginning of the Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer, Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown, I guess he's concerned. He's centralizing police resources in an effort to tamper down on summer gun violence. This was the most fatal shooting Monday evening in Garfield. 2 men, 45 and 52, standing on the sidewalk on West Wilcox Street. You don't go there, by the way. You don't. It's just a place you don't go near. It's a dangerous, violent place to be. And would you believe they were shot and killed there? Early Sunday morning, a man killed in Humboldt Park. If you've never been to Humboldt Park, never go there. It's a horrible place to be. About 7:45 a.m., a shot spotter notification alerted police in the shooting of a violent massacre on North Drake Avenue. It's kind of noticing a pattern here, if I'm not mistaken. There's quite a bit of this going on, you guys. How about this one? A 45-year-old man killed several hours before that in Grand Crossing on the south side. You've been told that the violence in Chicago and mostly just affects teenagers and gang members. Not the case. Another shooting on Humboldt Park on the northwest side. A 28-year-old man found on the sidewalk with a gunshot wound to the head at 11 p.m. on Saturday. 2 males seen running from the scene. The man who was shot, identified as Alejandro Castro of Humboldt Park, pronounced dead at Mount Sinai Hospital. I have a friend who's a doctor there. About an hour before that, a teenage boy shot to death on Washington Park on the south side. A little different from Washington Heights in Houston. Washington Heights in Houston, well known for restaurants, bars, nightclubs. Washington Park on the south side of Chicago, known for murder. Murder! Someone approached a 16-year-old Darnell Fisher at 10 p.m. on Friday. Authorities said the boy was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, pronounced dead, also from Washington Park. I think you're starting to get the idea here, guys. It's a pattern of behavior. On top of all these shootings, people killed, 39 nonviolent shootings. By the way, I didn't read the rest of the list. Tobias McNeil, 41. 23-year-old man from Washington Park. A 27-year-old from Inglewood. You get the idea. It's a lot of these people. Could you imagine? This is Houston's future. If we don't do something about it, this is our city. Chicago is a thugged-out town ruled by corrupt unions and gang-banging street hoods. There's no legal gun owners. There's no legal gun ranges. There's no legal gun stores in Chicago. But gun violence in Chicago is a daily occurrence. Houston's a liberal town. Chicago goes even further to the left. They call themselves progressive. In fact, they are nothing but. Regressive would be a better term. Someone like Lori Lightfoot, totally unqualified to run a city that large, looks an awful lot like Lena Hidalgo when you place their resumes side by side. People in Chicago jokingly refer to Mayor Lightfoot as Dora the Explorer, just like people in Houston. People in Chicago refer to Mayor Lightfoot as Larry Lightfoot, just like people in Houston call our Harris County Judge Dora. You get the idea. The effects of Houston and Chicago's lockdown efforts, much like Larry and Dora's gun control advocacy, will leave your town bankrupt and riddled with gun violence if you don't do something about it. The choice is yours. It's a dangerous place to live, but one thing is for sure. You can watch this happen weekend after weekend. It is as predictable as the time on your watch.
And this is how it's going to be. Yeah, I got a haircut.
Larry, why you bugging?
We will shut you down, we will arrest you, and we will take you to jail.
Larry,
period.
You need your hugging. Has a wife named Amy, calls her honey. Nothing left, she spent all my money. Has me in debt and her girlfriend's dizzy. Every press conference and Larry's getting pissy. You tell us every day, obey. We don't care that you're black and gay. A money you spent. Now my house with a mouse is a roach with a tent. Larry, why you bugging?
Don't make us treat you like a criminal.
Yeah. Is she great or what? Pete calling from Liberty. Pete, what's on your mind, brother?
I just want to remind everybody that although it may be swept under the rug in the next couple of days, we shouldn't let Joe forget his flub of last week. I think it was last Friday. I can't really. I've lived in the South all my life, and I never heard of anybody saying something like that. Where is he
Oh,
from?
something like
Delaware or
this?
something?
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Guys, do you realize, Pete, what this has done? Do you know what Blexit is?
Yeah.
Candace Owens' Blexit movement. She's this young black Republican, and she's trying to encourage black people to leave the Democrat Party. Joe Biden has just made this infinitely easier for her, Pete.
I can imagine the board of directors meeting of the Klan, and they're looking at each other and saying, "Hey, man, we wouldn't go there. We're backing the black dude on this one." Okay. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
Pete, it's very bizarre. I don't get it either. I'm glad you called. It's I talk to friends who are Democrats. I have friends who are black who are Democrats and Republicans, and every one of them was shocked that Joe did this. Washington Post wrote an article, an op-ed piece saying, "Relax, guys. Joe Biden was just kidding." I don't know how many of you guys remember last summer. There was a comedian named Gavin McInnes. Nice guy. Stand-up comedian. Actually, it was Gavin Shane. That's it. I'm sorry. I'm confusing him with another person. Was fired from SNL when somebody figured out that he had made some joke where he used a derogatory slur about Chinese people in a comedy bit on a podcast. That prevented him from getting a job at Saturday Night Live. Surely we must have the same standards for comedians that we have for politicians trying to become frickin' president. But apparently not. The Washington Post says, nay, it's okay for politicians to make racist jokes, but not comedians? Hey, Ahmed, we only have a minute left. Real quick, brother, what's on your mind?
I was thinking a lot while I'm listening to you. I have really an aggressive opinion. Forget about all the political stuff. For people dying from hunger cannot buy anything. You know what? I will personally call all the public officials, my personal opinion, they should be all resigned for a new election, or if they want to stay to the end of their term, they get $25,000 a year until things get better or change. Because the way it is, this is America. We need a better America. We need our citizens to live good like anybody else. We don't need to see anybody suffering. And I think
you don't want baseball, Ahmed? Are you saying you don't want baseball to come back?
No, it's fine. They come back and everything. And soccer, I'm a soccer fanatic myself,
Oh, soccer, yes. I thought he said something else for a second, didn't you? Hey, what is your favorite Egyptian baseball team, Ahmed?
I think the Astros, but to be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of baseball. I watched one game in my life.
That's okay. I got to go to break in 1 minute. Let me ask you a question, Ahmed. Did you hear what the last caller was just saying, Pete? Pete was saying, Joe Biden said if you don't vote for him, you're not black. Now, you're Egyptian, right? You've called before?
Yes.
If somebody walked up to you and they said, if you don't support this, if you don't support blank idea, you're not Egyptian anymore, what would you say to that man, Ahmed?
I think he's stupid, because the thing is, it's not black or white or gay or lesbian, all this. These people forget that we live in America.
Hell yeah, we live in America. Ahmed gets it. Why doesn't Joe Biden get it? I'm with Ahmed. I agree with Ahmed. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me if I don't vote for somebody, I'm not whatever I am, a white trash idiot. I agree with Ahmed. He's 100% correct.
You're listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. I guess it's not available in Canada, eh?
My friend Ahmed just made a great point there. Times are a little bizarre right now. We miss baseball. We missed out on, of course, basketball canceled. And if you're a young person in America, you missed out on your graduation. It's very disappointing. Imagine that. You didn't get to put on a cap and gown, walk down the aisle, and then have a very regretful night filled with drinking alcohol and possibly waking up with some young lady or some man that you wouldn't have slept with were you not drunk. I say all that to make this point. Bring back the graduation memories to a young person in your family by treating them to a gift from Shaw's Jewelry. Shaw's Jewelry at the same great location for over 50 years. 50 years is a long time, guys. And the advantage to Shaw's Jewelry being in the same great location for over 5 decades, they're not expensive like the jewelry store in the mall is. They don't have that high overhead cost. It's a lot more affordable than you might think because they already paid off their mortgage a long time ago, before my producer Garrett was even born. So if you're looking for a great graduation gift or a Father's Day present, they got those pre-owned Rolex watches. Give them a call, 713-522-4884, or go visit them in person at West Gray in Montrose.
You filed your taxes, but you have problems for the years before. If you have issues with the IRS, you need to call Top Tax Defender.
I love when Ahmed calls. Hey, everybody in the comment section, give Ahmed a letter grade on a scale of 1 to... No, we'll do a numerical grade, 1 to 10. What do you guys think of Ahmed? I love Ahmed. Some people say they can't understand what he's saying, but I think he's great.
Company keeps it affordable while you keep more cool.
That company is Weeks. Weeks Service.
I thought when he said soccer, he was saying the F word, but you know what? It was okay.
Hard for less than $40 per week.
It's a colossal deal with installation done right.
Start saving on energy bills from day one.
Get a new AC for your home. Finance for less than $40 per week from Weeks. Weeks Service Company. Online at weekservicecompany.com.
All right, this is something we're going to talk about a little later on in the show, but I just want to let other people, if you're a business owner, this is really important. Right now, take out your phone, pull up Safari or Chrome or whatever you use, go to the following website, covidclaimstexas.com. Some business interruption policies provide coverage for businesses that were shut down due to coronavirus and COVID-19. Your insurance company told you you're not going to get a payoff. Well, you know what? Actually, insurance carriers are constantly denying these claims even when they're supposed to pay them. If a carrier denied your claim under your business interruption policy, or if you want an attorney to assert whether you have this coverage, call McLaurin Law, 713-461-6500. Jason's been recognized as a rising star in the Texas legal scene. He's licensed. He handles matters in both Texas and Louisiana. He has over a decade of experience representing clients at trial, arbitration, mediation, and matters concerning insurance policyholder recovery disputes. This is going to be a huge thing in the months to come. Find out right now. See what I'm talking about. Go to the website, covidclaimstexas.com, covidclaimstexas.com. You'll be glad you did.
Being president is making me thirsty. I need a Diet Coke.
You should contact Rome Refreshments and have them set up a micro market in the White House.
Rome Refreshments? What's that?
Look, there's nothing worse than having meetings that go through the middle of the day just to have employees take a break because they want to go out to Starbucks. With Rome Refreshments, you can have a little convenience store set up right in the break room of your office. And they even have Diet Coke.
Finally, an easy way to get a Diet Coke without walking into public and actually talking to people.
For more information, go to romerefresh.com.
Activated radio.
Thanks for taking my call.
Also voice activated. Tell your smart device.
Play KPRC 950 on iHeartRadio.
So everybody.
I know that's a weird way to start this. Coming up in a minute, I got Joe Grimaldi, but real quick, a few things I want to get off my mind. Burger King, fast food restaurant with a political agenda. Several years ago, they introduced the Pride Whopper. It didn't make sense to a lot of people. An LGBT-themed sandwich meant to support gay rights. Fine, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. Amazingly, the Pride Whopper, still not as ridiculous as the Impossible Burger, which is a vegan sandwich designed to look like real meat. Here's a crazy idea. If you want to eat real meat, consider eating real meat. I know, it's weird, right? Burger King also had an ad campaign back in 2017 that was geared towards criticizing the deregulation of net neutrality by the FCC. If you don't understand what net neutrality is, don't worry about it. It's basically an imaginary problem invented by politicians. We had it. It went away. We don't have it anymore. Your life's unaffected. And just so you know, according to far left lawmakers, deregulating net neutrality should have killed us all by now. It did not. Now, Burger King in Germany has introduced an oversized crown that's supposed to keep customers 6 feet apart. I would just point out these crowns are now officially the 63rd dumbest reason to eat at Burger King. I don't like Burger King is my point. That's why I encourage you all to eat at JCI Grill. It's a fast food chain, locally owned and operated right here in Houston with no political agenda. Houston's a great place. You can only get James Coney Island Grill in Houston. And it's in a fantastic town and a fantastic place to live. We have some of the best people in America right here in our city. And amazingly, we also have one of the worst newspapers. Why can't Houston's leading print news outlet hide their anti-police bias? I'm speaking, of course, about the Houston Chronicle. Over the weekend, a criminal news story emerged on the radar, involved a criminal shot after he pointed a gun at cops. If you pointed a gun at police, at first he proved it was loaded, then he pointed the gun at cops. They shot him. It doesn't take a genius to realize pointing a gun at cops is a quick way to get shot. The Houston Chronicle could not resist. They had to write a misleading news story. Houston police shoot, kill emotional man who fired gun into ground. They made it seem as though the cops were shooting somebody with mental health issues. The Chronicle gave a misleading version of the story. Here to explain it, a good friend of the show, Houston Police Union President and National Vice President, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Joe Gamaldi. Joe, how did you spend Memorial Day weekend, sir?
Well, I spent Memorial Day enjoying some time with the family, and I was hoping to relax and enjoy myself. But, of course, the Chronicle had to ruin that for us. And this is what we talk about. So whenever we call the media, or when anyone calls the media, at the newspaper, fake news, the reporters over there, they clutch their pearls and they get so upset. How could you call us fake news? We're serious journalists. But yet you got some pissant in a back room, because it's not the reporter. The reporter didn't write this headline.
No.
Some pissant in the back room writing a misleading headline. And let's be real. Most people are just reading the headline. They don't dig down into the story, or maybe they read the first few lines. So if you just saw the headline that they put out, they make it seem as if we rolled up on an emotionally disturbed person who shot a couple rounds into the ground, and then we shoot the person. When that is not, in fact, what caused the use of force was the fact that he pointed the gun at our officers.
Yep.
And how difficult is it to simply write a headline that says, man points gun at police officers, gets shot? Because that's what happened.
Joe, I was curious about this, so I searched for the headline earlier on Twitter. And would you believe that there were dozens of people who shared the headline, gave some insight, and their take on Twitter was that the cops murdered the suspect? Pretty sure they never read the article.
Well, absolutely, they didn't read the article, because even in their own Chronicle article, which is the person was reading that, the person who wrote the headline even bothered to read what the reporter wrote.
Yep.
Their own story said the guy pointed the gun at the officers. But this is what they do. Everyone tells us, Joe, we want you to bridge the gap with the community. Police officers, bridge the gap with the community. But meanwhile, they're lighting that bridge on fire with these clickbait headlines, and it stokes that anti-police rhetoric and false narratives, because now somebody who just looks at that headline goes and tells their friend, and so on and so forth. And, they want to be taken seriously, and they want to be the fourth pillar. They want to make sure that they're, have accountability on all these institutions, but you're not being honest.
Right.
That's not an honest headline. So how are we expected to take the Chronicle seriously when they write headlines like this? Well, also, how do we take them seriously when they can't even create a business model that's successful for the print industry right now? But how do you expect us to take you seriously?
Joe, I love how you explain things, man. Hey, look, let's break some facts away from fake news for a minute. I don't know if this is fake news, but there's some confusion about something. The new city budget's out. Local activist Bill King, friend of the show, we like Bill, he pointed out that while they're adding 625 employees, a report he recently set out, there's cuts to police. I know some people are upset about this. Are people getting this news wrong?
Yeah, so let's be clear about what we're talking about with police officers. There are not any police officers being laid off or furloughed. So there's no cuts coming to the Houston Police Department as far as personnel is concerned that are here right now.
Okay.
What is being discussed now, for the first time in over a generation, with this next graduating class, we'll be at 5,400 officers. We've had about 300 over the last 3.5 years or so, because we were down at 5,100. But what's happening is we are delaying the academy classes that are scheduled for this coming fiscal year. I am confident that we are going to find the funding, that the mayor and council are going to find funding for several classes in this coming fiscal year. But as of right now, they're not scheduled. So if we don't have academy classes coming in, we could have people retire, which would mean less officers on the street. So that's what I guess Bill King was trying to get at in his article.
Okay, look, I think we both agree it's still important, but I'm glad you cleared that up. Meanwhile, Houston's murder rate is up 48% this year. That is a number that is so big it's almost hard to fathom. Aggravated assaults up 20%. The DA's office and judges keep doling out sweetheart deals, as you put it on Twitter. As another headline today, suspect in a double murder is freed on bond by Harris County judge. Joe, you and I have talked about this before. When do people realize this is a problem?
Well, you know what's funny, Kenny, is everyone is paying attention to officer-involved shootings because we've had 6 in the last month or whatever. But yet everyone is silent on the nearly 140 people that have been murdered across this city. Just in the last 2 weeks, We had 2 cases where 4 people were ultimately dead that could all be traced back to the DA making a horrible decision. But nobody's talking about that. And the individual case you just brought up, Mr. Bullock, get this. He is arrested for domestic violence. He's given a protective order and a bond. And the protective order says, no contact order. Don't go anywhere near your ex-wife. Don't go anywhere near her. You know, because criminals always listen to a piece of paper, by the way. Kenny.
Sure, of course they do.
When you
yeah.
give them a piece of paper, they listen to it. You know, just like when they sign on the dotted line for that PR bond, they always show up to court, you know, because it's just a signature. I'm joking. They never show up to
No,
court.
they
but
don't.
The point
no.
is, the point is, so they give him this piece of paper. They give him that order to say, stay away. What does he do? He goes over there and he murders her, and he murders her boyfriend as well. So he does a double homicide, capital murder. He goes in front of the judge. Here's where it gets good. She gives him a bond.
Unreal.
A $250,000 bond. But he already defied your order the last time you gave him a bond and murdered 2 people. What do you think he's going to do this time?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine how stupid this judge can possibly be. And normally I say, oh, they're ignorant, or how could they do this, or ideology. No, you're stupid. No reasonable person would give someone a bond if they just murdered 2 people after they just, violated the conditions of the first bond.
Amen. Brother, Joe, I know there's not a simple answer to this, but why can't Houston area judges be as nice to people with low-level traffic violations as they are to violent criminals?
You know, the truth is, Kenny, they don't care. They just don't. Because if they did, there's no reason to give that man a bond. And listen, who's out there picketing the courthouse saying that this dirtbag needs to get a bond? No one, except for his attorney. There's no pressure from the public saying to give a double murder suspect a bond. There's nobody requesting that.
Joe.
The only reason they're doing it is their failed ideology, and it has to stop.
Folks, that is Joe Gamaldi. I could talk to Joe all day. The other thing he just touched on there is how there's these community activists outraged that 5 past HPD officer-involved shootings were black and Hispanic, as if that matters. But anyway, follow Joe Gamaldi on Twitter. He is a great follow, at Joe Gamaldi. He's very easy to find on there. He's very good at what he does. We got to take a quick break, if I'm not mistaken. 713-212-5950. I see some people on hold right now. Don't change the channel. Pursuit of Happiness Radio will be right back with a friend of mine, an attorney from Houston who's fighting for small business owners.
Of sarcasm right here on Pursuit of Happiness Radio.
It's hard work to host a show with a couple of knuckleheads.
Ken Webster Jr.
All right, let's get real here for just a second, folks. It is getting hot out. Your wife is hot. She is sticky. She is demanding you get that HVAC system fixed. It's easy to do. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. In fact, if you need your heating and air conditioning unit fixed in a hurry, you can call my friend Nick at Nick's Plumbing. What? Plumbing? Yeah, it's true. Houston's Nick's Plumbing. They've been in Houston since 1979. They are now fixing air conditioning units. It's the same great company that handles your residential and your commercial plumbing. They're available all over Houston, from Kemah to Katy, from Sugar Land all the way up to Humble, everywhere in between. Give them a call right now. They are easy to reach. If you need a good plumber or somebody to fix your air conditioning unit, pick up the phone, call 713-868-9907. Or visit them online at nicksplumbing.com.
Our city. There's freedom here. Our stories.
And we have things that don't exist in other places.
Our issues.
Very Houston-centric.
The Jimmy Barrett Show. Up next at 3.
It's only going to get bigger, and we're all going to figure out how to cope.
On KTRC 950.
Now. The Traffic Center.
North at Will Clayton, there's a stall on the left shoulder. We've got a frontage road accident southbound 59 at Greens Road. It's blocking 3 lanes, and an accident on Beach Nut at the Beltway. I'm Katie London in the 24-hour traffic center.
This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo Privacy. Fed up with companies selling your data? DuckDuckGo is on it. They help millions of people like you take back their privacy online. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers. All for free. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, I want to talk for a minute real quick to all the business owners out there. You may have a business interruption insurance policy for your business. There's a good possibility insurance carriers are denying your claim, even if your business interruption policy is supposed to cover what's happening right now. There's a reason why they're not paying it out. They don't want to. If a carrier denied your claim under your business interruption policy, you need to talk to my friend Jason at McLaurin Law. His website's easy to remember, covidclaimstexas.com. covidclaimstexas.com. Jason is fantastic at what he does. He's got over a decade of experience representing clients in these types of cases, and he can make sure that your insurance company pays you the money they owe you. So call him right now, 713-461-6500, or just go to that website. It's very easy to remember, covidclaimstexas.com. Make the insurance company pay you the money they owe you. Jason will make sure they do exactly that. covidclaimstexas.com. Contact him today.
As a pro, saving time and money is your first priority. Lowe's can help you save both. Shop on Lowe'sForPros.com and get free standard shipping on qualifying orders of $45 or more. You'll find the brands you trust. You can order on the job site or in the trunk of any device. Need something in a hurry? Make a quick trip to Lowe's. We're open at 6 a.m. and offer curbside pickup, so you can get what you need and get on your way. Lowe's, here to help you save time and money. Applies to eligible items only. Contiguous U.S. only. Restrictions apply. See Lowe'sForPros.com for details.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
These days, being a small business means navigating uncertainty in a constantly changing situation. So if you're looking for one trusted source that will keep you informed daily, visit the...
Hey guys, just getting caught up on your comments here. Mark and Gresha, Shane, what up with you guys? John says serious liar is more like it. Darren says those ads with the Burger King were kind of creepy. I agree. I don't like Burger King. I don't like it. They'll never advertise on this show. Unless they offer us a lot of money. I don't know if there's this is something that kind of blew my mind. Despite early reports, the CDC now says COVID-19 does not actually spread easily on the surface of plastic. But just to make sure, be totally safe, Nancy Pelosi should probably still wash her hands after she touches her face. In other news, flooding in Michigan released toxic pollution from a chemical facility, and thus begins the origin story for every Marvel Comics supervillain ever created. Something to think about today, my friends. I don't know if there's going to be a supervillain emerging from this coronavirus, but there will be lots and lots of lawsuits. Particularly, and I mean, this is one of the things you'll be seeing the most, probably going to be a lot of divorce lawyers getting phone calls in the coming months. People are coming out of quarantine. And in today's episode of The Married Couple, we take a look at cheaters.
And now today's episode of The Married Couple.
Walter.
What?
Did you cheat?
No, I didn't cheat.
When you went out, you said you were going to get the car washed, but I just got something out of the car, and it smelled like French fries.
What?
Delicious, golden, fast food French fries.
It did?
See? No denial. You cheated and went to a drive-thru.
Wait, technically, I told you when I was going to the drive-thru car wash, I paused between saying drive-thru and car wash.
That is so misleading.
I had to. It's been too long. And I did drive through the car wash.
Yep.
Are there any fries left? Walter?
Join us next time for The Married Couple.
Check the bag for bonus fries. Those are the best. So many divorce lawsuits coming. Another kind of lawsuit, small business owners suing insurance companies. I want to talk to all the business owners in the audience for a minute. The other day on Twitter, I started talking about a new partner we're working with, and I alerted some of our listeners to news that despite what your insurance agent may have told you over the phone during a friendly but panicked conversation, your business interruption insurance may actually cover the losses you experienced during the coronavirus pandemic. I briefly mentioned that on Twitter. I posted a link to somebody that can help out with this. It's a really common problem. It's something many of you are going to be dealing with in the coming months. And when I shared this news on Twitter last week, I actually got a very angry response from one of my followers who, not surprisingly, after engaging with him for a minute, works for a big insurance company. I'm not an expert in how business insurance works. I'm also not a lawyer, but I know many of you have been negatively impacted by the crisis. A lot of you are small business, big business, medium business owners. You're not getting back the money you're supposed to get for the policy you own. So to help explain this more clearly, I invited my buddy Jason McLaurin from McLaurin Law on the show today. He's an experienced attorney. He specializes in this. Jason, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you, Kenny?
Doing good, my man. What did attorneys such as yourself do during the Memorial Day weekend this year? Watch some baseball?
Still staying in, still keeping the social distancing going, but I've been noticing things opening up a lot out there.
Yeah, me too. It feels good to get back to whatever the new version of normal is. And you already know this. We've talked about this before. There's a lot of business owners who listen to KPRC 950. Some of them have business interruption insurance. They've already been told by their agents they won't get a payout. Why is that?
Well, that's because a lot of the carriers right now are coming back with the argument that you have to have physical damage in order to get coverage under business interruption insurance. And while that on its face is true, according to the terms of the policy, there are many ways around that in interpreting the policy that I think that when you look at it facially, it isn't being addressed appropriately.
All right, so are insurance companies lying? Is it they're lying to us?
Well, you have to think about it this way. At this stage, I mean, they can't just open the floodgates to allow every single person who files a business interruption claim to recover at this point, mainly being that if they did, they'd open up the doors to, literally billions in claims. Now, I'm not saying that every single business interruption policy will cover COVID-19 losses, but there are probably very likely going to be a good portion of them that will. And, just insurance companies taking the position that they have to, that none of them are covered is just not the right way to be looking at the situation.
How common will these types of lawsuits be in the coming months? They're already happening, aren't they?
They're already happening around the country. They've already been filed. I think that depending on which way some of these cases go, it could define how it's going to go for the future cases as how the law works. But, yes, they're already being filed en masse.
All right. How does somebody know if their policy is supposed to pay out on this kind of thing, especially if they've already been told it doesn't?
That's where you're going to want to talk to an insurance lawyer. Generally, there are some issues that are big. Like, for example, there's a good portion of these policies that have virus exclusions. Those are going to be probably a little bit more difficult to get coverage under, although I still think that there are some good arguments that can be made on those, especially depending on the language. And, you just need to – it's probably time to talk to a lawyer at that point if you think there may be an argument to go against the insurance company.
Jason, we have listeners who own little hair salons. We have listeners who design software for the oil company. We have listeners who own financial advice firms, a small, large, medium, and anybody could benefit from this, right?
I mean, that's the thing is it will there are very likely going to be policies that do cover and policies that don't cover. And, I don't want to tell everyone that they're going to have a policy that covers, but I certainly don't want people to just take the words of their brokers or the insurance company coming back and saying no, because they're going to say no to everyone at this point.
Right, and that's how it is. In the coming months, we're going to see a lot more of this happening. But, Jason, in the meantime, I'm glad that we got to partner with you. I know a lot of our listeners are going to benefit from meeting you, and I just want people to know it's covidclaimstexas.com. We've been talking about it all through the show today. It's very easy to remember.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jason. I appreciate your time, sir. We are just have a few short moments left, and something very bizarre happened in Florida. I know what you guys are thinking. Weird things never happen in Florida. A huge crowd gathered in Daytona Beach over Memorial Day weekend when someone started throwing cash from the sunroof of their car. People basically rioted at the news of this. It was people could not behave themselves. In fact, gunshots were heard. Shrapnel flew through the air. It turns out they were filming a music video.
They're clearly throwing cash at the crowd. There's two people out the sunroof throwing money.
The gentleman was flashing out, throwing money out to the crowd. This type of behavior is unacceptable. We don't want people coming to our city, disrupting our city.
He's making a rap video, so this will be seen.
Later found out that 4 more people were also hit by shrapnel and had minor injuries.
Folks, if you take one thing away from today's show, let it be do not film a rap video during a health crisis where you throw money at people. If 2 things, then first the rap music thing, then remember, watch out for murder hornets. And if 3 things, let it be, first the rap video during a health crisis, look out for murder hornets and cannibal rats. And finally, if you need a qualified attorney, Jason McLaurin, proud sponsor of Pursuit of Happiness Radio. We're proud to partner with him. Have a great afternoon, folks. The after show actually starts in a few short moments at facebook.com/Ken Webster Jr. You can also find me live streaming right now on Twitter and YouTube. Jimmy Barrett takes over next.
Listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen to the show.
Like perfectly smoked brisket. This show is done. If you missed anything, all the tasty bits will be caught.
Hey guys, if I could ask you all a favor, even if you're not a small business owner, do me a solid. Click that link right there, covidclaimstexas.com. Look at the website. I just want our new advertiser, Jason, to know Pursuit of Happiness Radio listeners care about small businesses. We care about getting the economy going again. And, you know, we partnered with him. I want to let him know that our listeners will care about his business. If y'all could do me a favor and just click that link for me real quick, the after show will start in 1 quick second. I got to record a promo.
If you're under 65 and decent health and buy your own health insurance, or you're paying ridiculous COBRA rates, Solutions for You. They help folks buy health plans with rates 30 to 60% lower with no deductibles or copays. Compare your coverage to what Insurance Solutions for You can offer. This is the best non-Obamacare plan available today. Call Insurance Solutions for You at 866-566-3776. That's 866-566-3776. Or go to insurancesolutionsforyou.net. That's Insurance Solutions, 4u.net. A quality plan managed and chosen by you.
What up, people? Shout outs to all my homies in the comments section. First of all, greetings to all of you. Thanks so much for being here today. Share this video if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't already done so, sound off in the comments. I'd love to know what y'all did this weekend for Memorial Day. Let us talk about Robert Mueller. Remember Robert Mueller? Robert Mueller, affectionately, the guy that they named the Mueller investigation after. A special investigator, basically the number 2 or number 3 guy in the witch hunt against Donald Trump. I'm sure you all remember it was a 3-year-long experiment to figure out how stupid is America and how much money are we willing to piss away on a stupid witch hunt over some Russian collusion hoax. Well, interesting thing about that, there's not a lot of news today about Mueller, but there is one very interesting thing happening. Mueller's lead prosecutor in the Trump-Russia probe is a guy named Andrew Weissman. Andrew Weissman is going to host a fundraiser for Joe Biden. What? The very guy who was supposed to be completely non-biased, didn't have an agenda against Trump, is hosting a fundraiser for Joe Biden. Funny thing about that, the same attorney, the same prosecutor who hosted the fundraiser back in 2016 was in attendance at Hillary's 2016 election night tear fest, hanging out with people like Cher and Hillary while they got drunk and were pissed about us. Imagine, because America won that night. They lost. They were pissed. The guy, imagine that. Weissman is the lead prosecutor for special counsel Robert Mueller's team hosting a virtual fundraiser for Biden's campaign this week. Shouldn't this basically just... I get it. Nothing really came from the Mueller investigation, but shouldn't this nullify the whole thing? The very fact that this guy was so biased, doesn't this kind of show you we as Americans never should have been paying for this guy to be investigating Trump in the first place? Trump is pissed about this. The totally nonpartisan Mueller team just exposed for what they are, the swamp, nothing more. Trump campaign communications director Tim Murtaugh said in response to the news, it's no surprise that a guy who tried to take down the president through the sham impeachment was also going to help Joe Biden's campaign. It doesn't get any swampier than this, my friends. Trying to stage a partisan coup against the president, then raising money for his political opponent. If you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention, my friends. Even mainstream media journalists admit the optics of Weissman hosting a Biden event, not a good look for you, Democrats. Not a good look. Los Angeles Times White House correspondent Chris Majarian says, after only insisting that the special counsel's investigation wasn't tainted by politics, one of the former top prosecutors is raising money for Trump's opponent. Debbie says Donna looks like Carol fucking Baskins. Interesting. White House Washington Post reporter Dan Zak writes that Wiseman raising money for Biden seems hugely inappropriate. Philadelphia Inquirer reporter Jonathan Tameri worries that this will play directly into the Trump narrative that it was angry Dems out to get him. Isn't that amazing? I mean, this reaffirms what we already knew, but now that the dust has settled, now that we've had another chance to look at this, doesn't this kind of piss you off? Judd says the problem with Wiseman doing that fundraiser doesn't mean squat to the dumb-minded liberals. Brother, I'm with you. But it reaffirms something we know the truth now. And we should be pissed, but don't expect anything from them. Now, here's another interesting thing today I want you to look at. Cuomo and his no-talent brother, Fredo. Governor Cuomo and his loser CNN brother, Chris Cuomo. No wonder why CNN continues with the Cuomo brothers silly skit. They don't want to have to be forced to answer for this. The Associated Press has a story out today. It says more than 4,300 recovering coronavirus patients were sent to New York's already vulnerable nursing homes under Cuomo's directive. 4,300, you guys. This is kind of an amazingly high number. Debbie says, Kenny not knowing Donna was trolling him. I don't mind. Well, hang on a second. We'll get back to this in a minute. What is it you guys are reacting to here? Somebody named Donna. I got to scroll up here. What was it Donna was saying? Said, is somebody... Troll alert. What was going on here? Where is it? What is you guys are talking about? I'm scrolling up. What am I looking for? Somebody named Donna? I don't know if there's an easy way to search this. I would love to know what you guys are commenting on. Because it's... Hang on a second. Let's see if there's an easy way to find it. No, there's not. I'm using new streaming software, and it's hard to search for a name. Is Donna gone? Is she still in the conversation? I would love to talk to Donna for a minute if she's still there. Stacy says, poor Kenny is always lost on these comments. It's not a big deal, but Arthur says, call Troll Tracer. That's funny. I think what I need to do is make one of you guys a administrator on my Facebook page so somebody could deal with it for me while I'm doing my thing. But if I'm being totally honest, as you guys know, I don't really mind the trolls. Back when we first started doing, right around the time that my buddy John died, there was a troll on this page who was making some really disgusting comments about John Walton and Matt Patrick. And I didn't figure it out until after the show ended, when I went back and I looked at the comments. And I will admit I was pretty disgusted by what I was seeing. But aside from people publicly attacking my friends who died of cancer, I don't really care if people comment on this page that they don't like me or they don't agree with me. I don't have a problem with it at all. In fact, if I'm being totally honest, I totally encourage that kind of thing. Trolls exist. They're around. There's nothing we can do about it. They will exist. I am a proud troll. As somebody who got where I am by trolling politicians for a living, how many of you have seen the video of me standing outside Mayor Turner's office last year, wearing a fire helmet and holding a megaphone and telling yo mama jokes about Mayor Turner? Many of you may remember that video. As somebody that was not a big fan of the mayor, I was proud to do that. Now, for whatever it's worth, bad politicians exist. But I'm a talk show host. I write fart jokes for a living, and I interview my friends who have interesting opinions about politics or solutions to problems we're dealing with during the crisis. GW says I am king of trolls. I agree. He is. He is a proud troll. And I love my buddy GW. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the Associated Press. They say that the number of people who died from coronavirus in New York City, almost all of them were from the nursing home, more than half it turns out. And now we're learning that the number of cases of people with coronavirus that were previously in the very vulnerable nursing homes, bigger than what we previously thought. There's a guy named Daniel Arbany. His father died of COVID-19 at a Brooklyn nursing home where more than 50 people have died. 50 people in the same nursing home. Do you think that's a coincidence? It's not. They let in sick COVID-19 patients into the nursing home. Had they have just sent them to a regular hospital, it would have been fine. The real hospitals in New York City, the vast majority of which completely empty. Guys, during this crisis, nobody is at the hospitals. They sent all the patients to the nursing home, killed all the people at the nursing home, and nobody at CNN wants to talk about this. Well, why do you think that is? It's because their coworker's brother is the governor, is the very guy responsible for this. It was the single dumbest decision anyone could make if they wanted to kill people or if they didn't. It's not rocket science here, my friends. We knew early on, one of the first things we knew, and one of the things we still know, is that the elderly and the immunocompromised were the people that were affected the most by coronavirus. Why would you send all the people with coronavirus to the nursing homes? It's kind of incredible, right? There's a guy in New York. I was a patient at a place called Gerwin Jewish. It's a 460-bed home on Long Island. They had 47 residents die of COVID-19. Could you imagine working in a nursing home? In less than a month, close to 50 of your patients died. That's alarming. Debbie says, why didn't that MFer put them on that big-ass ship? That's a great question, Debbie. That is a really good question. It doesn't make any sense. The Society for the Post-Acute and Long-Term Care Medicine, known as AMDA, warned from the beginning that Cuomo's orders admitting infected patients posed a clear and present danger to nursing home residents. Now you got this guy named Jeffrey N. Nichols. He serves on the executive committee of that group. He said the effect of that order was to contribute to 5,000 deaths. Yesterday I noticed Mika Brzezinski. Are you familiar with Mika Brzezinski? Mika Brzezinski blames Donald Trump for the 100,000 people who died of coronavirus in America. For whatever it's worth, that number is not, it's probably not entirely accurate. 100,000 deaths is a lot of deaths. Many of those people were already going to die. Maybe they died with COVID-19. We don't know. Maybe they died in a hospital where people had COVID-19 and they died of something like a pneumonia. Now, as you know, I've gotten into trouble for pointing this out. The CDC has admitted in their own words they're exaggerating the number of deaths. They've revised the number over and over again. It's gone up. It's gone down. They took deaths off until they could confirm with autopsy. We know there were a lot of deaths. But if Mika Brzezinski blames Trump for 100,000 of those deaths, consider this. Mika Brzezinski, MSNBC morning news host, wife of Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe. Early on, she said there would be 2 million deaths. She said that. She said there would be 2 million it was actually 2.2 million. That's 2,200,000 deaths. Now she's blaming Trump for 100,000 deaths. Obviously, if you scratch off all the deaths from New York City, that number vastly drops, right? But let's say for a minute, Trump is responsible for the 100,000 deaths. Let's say that Mika is correct. If Mika is correct and Trump is responsible for 100,000 deaths, that would mean by Mika's own logic, Trump saved 2,100,000 people because Mika said there would be over 2 million deaths. If she said there would be over 2 million deaths and the 100,000 deaths that we had are Trump's fault, it's like she's admitting that Trump saved 2 million people. Now, you can hold her at her word. She'll never admit this. This is her own stupid logic. I'm done with coronavirus, guys. I'm sick of talking about it. I'll do anything I can to find news stories that have nothing to do with coronavirus. Although there are very few of them, all news eventually circles back to coronavirus. Joe Biden's Memorial Day tribute to the vets in Delaware circles back to coronavirus. The fact that Donald Trump may have played a round of golf over a 3-day weekend is directly connected to coronavirus. Never, by the way, that's the other thing they're mad at Trump about. Did you know Trump played golf this weekend? Yeah, he did. But there's also a health crisis happening, and he also had 2 tributes to the vets. But since you brought it up, Barack Obama golfed on 7 of the 8 Memorial Days when he was president. I don't hear anybody talking about that. Well, why would they? I know it's whataboutism, but the very people that are criticizing Trump for playing golf this weekend did not criticize Obama when he did it. So yeah, maybe it is whataboutism, but I think it's a valid point. Let's talk about the entertainment world for a minute. Stevie Nicks, happy birthday. Fleetwood Mac, she is a singer. She turned 72 this weekend. She sings for a living, but thanks to all the scarves she wears that could be face masks, she's actually now considered a hoarder. Anyway, shout out to Stevie Nicks. She loves the show. Elvis Presley. Did you guys know Elvis Presley had a rhinestone-studded jockstrap? And this weekend at an auction, it's up for sale for $36,000. And you thought blue suede shoes were a bit much. A rhinestone studded jockstrap worth $36,000. And I got to tell you guys, I wonder if I had $36,000, would I buy it? Because somebody 10 years from now would be willing to pay twice as much. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, shout out to Miley Cyrus. She got rid of her mullet. That's right. She kicked Billy Ray out of the garage. No, I'm just kidding. She had a mullet haircut, and she cut the haircut. Oh, by the way, say a prayer for my homie Brian May. Queen guitarist Brian May revealed he recently had a heart attack. He believes he could have died from it. Brian May denies that his heart was under pressure from having lots of sex with fat-bottom girls. Otherwise, we'd be playing Another One Bites the Dust right now. I know, too many references to Queen songs. I couldn't resist. Hank Williams Jr. turned 71 today. Happy birthday. He's saying a country boy can't survive. But remember, that was before COVID-19. We don't know if a country boy could still survive. Robert Kraft, the Super Bowl, Patriots Super Bowl winning champion team owner, is going to be auctioning off his Super Bowl ring for $1 million. I'm curious, since the buyer had to be rich and desperate for a ring, do you think it was Tony Romo? Who else, right? Tony Romo, does he have a Super Bowl ring? Does he have a lot of money? Who do you think's buying that ring? I rest my case. By the way, Robert Kraft is donating the money to charity. I wasn't sure what that charity is. I'm guessing it's suicide prevention services for women in New England since Tom Brady left, and they are very depressed about that. Or he may be donating the money to the massage parlors of Florida. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. I'm going to get caught up with y'all's comments real quick because I'd love to know what you awesome people are talking about over here. Let me see where everyone left off. I never figured out what happened to Donna the troll. Debbie says, I didn't know Donna was trolling him. I thought I saw something about it, but, trolls happen. I don't care. Trolls are welcome. All trolls are encouraged. I wish the trolls would call the show. Rather than disagreeing with me in the comment section of my Facebook Live video and entertaining, a few dozen people that are watching that, why not call the show where there's literally thousands of people listening and we can have a public conversation about it? Daniel says, I like getting carded at a liquor store while wearing a mask and sunglasses. That is hilarious. Or how about this? You're driving in your car without a seatbelt and you get pulled over and ticketed by a police officer on a motorcycle. It is absent of any logic, but that's the country we live in. Mark says, if you're not trolling, you aren't trying. It's true. It is true. Edward says, the after show. Hooray. Judd says, Donna, is that Karen's sister? It could be. My mom's name is Donna. I love women named Donna. Daniel says, Donna was saying pro LaToya Cantrell BS. I didn't know there were people out there that liked LaToya Cantrell who know who I am. So that in and of itself made Donna's trolling worth it. I'm proud of that. Nita says she was singing the praises of Cantrell. Well, I wish she would have called. Hey, to anybody that watches these videos regularly, if you see people trolling me, encourage them to call. Give them the call-in number. I will always interrupt the show. No matter what kind of notes I have on my screen, no matter what stupid comedy bit I'm trying to build up to in my ridiculous political diatribe, just know, if I turn and glance from computer A to computer B right here, I will stop everything on a dime to talk to trolls. They don't call much, but what are you going to do? GW is the king of trolls. I love him. Linda says, I like you. That's all that counts. Well, thank you. I like you too, Linda. Chris says, if someone doesn't like you, you ain't doing something right. Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of people that don't like me. You should see my hate mail. I get a lot of emails. I get a lot because, we have over a dozen affiliates every morning. And when I'm reading through my emails in the morning, about one in 10 emails, maybe 1 in 20 is someone that doesn't like me. And very rarely is it a listener. Usually it's just somebody that stumbled onto my podcast, stumbled onto the blog, stumbled onto my Twitter account, and they want to hate on me. That's fine. I'm happy to entertain those people. But just know that if you really want to troll me, sending an anonymous email that I'm not even going to pay much mind to does nothing. If you want to call me on the show, that would actually be interesting, but they never do. Daniel says, I think seeing Kenny telling you mama jokes to Turner was the first POH video I ever watched. Well, I'm glad. I love that I found you, Daniel. Oh, this is interesting. Chris says AP they're a bunch of pricks. I agree with him. Linda says, have to figure the percentages that were tagged 19 just for the government money. That's a great question. I'm curious too. Also, a year from now, when we have the official results of how many people died around this time of year versus the previous year, it's going to be very interesting to see, was there really much difference? How many of these people were going to die within weeks anyway? Look, don't get me wrong. Every coronavirus death is bad. But remember, we completely shut down our economy. We locked down our whole economy over this. I have friends who own businesses that'll never reopen. We lost advertisers over this. That stuff breaks my heart, you guys. Linda says, I have to figure oh, I just read that one. Edward says about 40 seniors passed from COVID right here in Stafford. It's amazing. It's horrible. Debbie says, why didn't that MFer put them on that big-ass ship? Oh, I read that part already. Scroll down a little bit here. Let's see. Chris says Debbie should admin. I agree. I need to do something about that when I get off the air. Chris says we should do the mail-in ballot to see who the administrator is. I would be happy to make more than one of you guys an administrator. The people who watch the after show, I mean, I trust you guys. I've known a lot of you now for months, some of you for years because of our relationship online. A lot of you guys show up at our public appearances. You know, I trust you guys. If we could make one of you, 2, 3, 4 of you administrators. Many of you are already administrators in the Pursuit of Happiness radio group. Some of you are there's a private group for those who don't know. Go add yourselves if you haven't already. There's also a private group for Walton and Johnson listeners called Walton and Johnson Listeners Unite. They are different shows. They are different groups. A lot of the same people are in both groups, but you know, respectively, is a bigger Walton and Johnson audience than Pursuit of Happiness radio listeners. So you get slightly different content. If you enjoy our stupid, silly radio shows, I encourage you to join both groups. You'll meet a lot of like-minded people that way. You'll probably make some friends. Matt says, I got the butt ice virus. Daniel says, Obama was golfing nonstop when 22 parishes flooded in the fall of 2016. Yeah, we talked about that this morning. Trump donated his money to the Baton Rouge churches. Obama went golfing when that happened. Daniel, I'm glad you brought that up. It's a great reminder. You know, a lot of people around the country may have forgotten. South Louisiana didn't forget. Baton Rouge didn't forget. Livingston Parish didn't forget. Something to think about. Love me some Brian May, Hank Jr. Hey, I love all you guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. I got a phone meeting in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to get cleaned up here in the studio. Y'all are awesome. You guys are my favorite people. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. We have our silly, stupid radio show reaches about 1 million people every morning. My afternoon show reaches up close to 100,000 people a week. And the silly after show that I do, you know, like seriously, how many people watch this after show a week? Maybe a few hundred people, maybe 1,000 at best in the whole week will watch one of my after shows. But real talk, I do the show for you guys. You guys I wait all day for this. You're the people that matter the most. You guys are the core audience, the people that keep up with what we do, the people that share our articles, share our videos, the people that follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, the people that show up at the public appearances we do. We're planning an event right now at Ben's Den. It's going to be a bourbon tasting. Ben's Den, in case you don't know, is the name of the tasting room at Gulf Coast Distillers, home of Giant Texas Bourbon and BJ Hooker's Vodka. I don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be hopefully soon. Probably not by till early summer, but early summer's happening real soon. So I hope to see all you there. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. on the